WhiskyJason here. Whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. And today I have Tullamore D.E.W, not that exciting or rare. 18-year-old. This is exciting. This is one of 2,500 bottles released every single year. Now I know my rule is if someone else has done a video, I'm not going to do it. Now Daniel and Rex at the Whiskey Tribe, or also Whiskey Biscuit, the Whiskey Tribe, have done this review. And yet I decided to still do my own review. When he brought out the Black Bush from Bushmills, I was just like, no, you can't compare this. This is just, no, absolutely wrong. And as soon as he smelled it, he realized his mistake as well. I have no idea how they got that bottle over there. Now, the same thing you would ask about me, how did I get this bottle over here? Well, I was at the distillery. You can go to Celtic Whiskey Shop in Dublin, and this is 155 euros. You can go to the Whiskey Exchange, it's 88 pounds, which is a really cheap price, which is about 100 euros. Or you can actually buy it at the distillery for 135 euros. This is 41.3%. Since 2016, it's been on the market. So in 2016, there was 2,500 bottles, 17, 2,500 bottles, 18, 2,500 bottles. And so there's a total of 7,500 bottles out there in the world. I'm looking for the laser printed code on here, and I don't see one. Interesting. There should be some type of little laser date and so on this bottle, and I have no idea where that could be. Wow, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Okay, now I'm going to actually compare this to something which is very, very similar. Even look at the box. This is the Tullamore D.E.W 14-year-old single malt, 43.1%. Even the bottle looks almost identical. And the interesting thing is here, we're talking about a price in Germany of 42 euros. 135, 42. Now the question is, it's 4 years younger. And the first question I also had is, but Jason, is it the same? Now, ooh, that was a healthy pour for a Jason pour. Now I'm going to read the back of the bottle here. The back of the box here, it says, characterized by its unique four-cask recipe in old bourbon, oloroso, sherry, port, and madeira, Tullamore D.E.W 14-year-old single malt is intensively rich and smooth whiskey. Over here, it's slowly matured in bourbon oak barrels and then finished for another 6 months in oloroso, sherry, port, madeira, and bourbon casks. So, it's almost the same. The only thing is they mentioned 6 months over here and no time period over here. Both of them are finished in, whoops, a little bit tricky here. Both of them are finished in port, sherry, madeira, and also bourbon casks. Now, I do not understand something. Maybe someone can write and contact me. This was basically aged for, let's say, 17 years and 6 months minimum, and then 6 further months in a finishing. Why would I take it out of bourbon cask and put it in a new bourbon cask? Especially since it doesn't say virgin oak or first fill. Why don't you just leave it in the cask? Yeah, why don't, didn't get that. The same thing over here, yeah? It's first of all aged for the 13 and a half years, or it doesn't even have an age on here. It just says here, yep. So, distilled 14-year-old single malt, no exception. 14-year-old single malt is extensively rich. So this also has a 14-year-old total age with a certain amount in those casks. Bourbon, why? Port, I understand. Sherry, I understand. Madeira, I understand. Now, one last thing before I come to tasting. I'm giving them time here to develop in the glass. Imagine you have actually a glass and you pour maybe, let's say 2 centiliters of port, tawny, ruby, I don't know, 2 centiliters of sherry or oloroso, PX, I don't know, and 2 centiliters of madeira, dolce or fino, sweet or dry, I don't know. And then you just mix them up and you taste them. Would that taste good? I really don't know. I've never done that. I've never had the idea of saying, hey, let's see what these three different casks taste like together. And yet that's exactly what Bushmills with 21-year-old did, is they actually had here matured in 3 woods. You had here the bourbon, you had the madeira, and you had the oloroso sherry. And why not? So that's basically what we have here as well. All right, so moving on to the 21-year-old, 21, that was 21. Moving on to the 18-year-old from Tullamore. This is heavenly. This is fantastic. This is a rich bouquet of flowers, of tropical fruits. I can actually pick out the port, a nice cherry type of red apple. I can pick out the sherry, a little bit of the raisins. I have my problems actually identifying the madeira. The bourbon casks, vanilla is there. I've had single samples of madeira, but I would not be able to point my finger on that and say, yes, that's what's in there. Over here, exactly the same combination of casks. Much more dialed down. This is actually like a 9 if 10 is the highest, and this is more like a 6. The first thing I get is a nice sherry, the raisins. Second thing I get is a nice port, which is that not raisiny, more of the cherry type of fruitiness, the red apples, raspberries, those berries, cranberries. I get a whiff of the vanilla, of the oak from those bourbon casks, fabulous. But I do get a little bit more of the alcohol moment as well. This is smoother, this is more refined, this is more mature, this is older. All right, so let's taste it. Wow, this is so good. This is perfect. So it's an A. Yay! It's not very often I give A's at all. This is in the same category as my Redbreast 21, that was an A+. This is the same category as like a Bushmills 16-year-old. This is like the Bushmills 21-year-old, which I think I actually give an A-. This is also in the category of just fantastic. This is really magnificent. I don't understand Daniel and Rex, why they just kind of went, oh, good, boof. I know on that day, if you go to the review, Daniel just came back from the Yosemite Park. He was hiking and so on, and so they had different things they were doing. And this was kind of like, well, we're going to talk about our vacation and the whiskey. This is almost better than the vacation. This stuff is really, really good. The problem is limited, scarce, 2,500 bottles worldwide. Basically, it's almost impossible to get this outside of Ireland. Germany has a wonderful market for everything whiskey, and even we do not get it. I do know that I think a third of the bottles do make their way to America. If I remember correctly, that Craig Piggott told me, the brand ambassador, which I interviewed. Oh, by the way, you can actually see his interview online here, where we talked for about 20 minutes about the history and about the brands and about the future of Tullamore DEW, about how William Grant invested about 100 million euros in the distillery, in the visitor center, in the marketing, in the branding. Very, very nice. This is going to be an up-and-coming brand for higher quality products in the next 20 years. I'm really, really looking forward to this. Now, moving on to the little brother, 14 years old. The nose is really nice. Almost as good. Now the problem is, I do have a little bit about more of that alcohol. It's more evident. Now I would like to compare this. Imagine you drove the best Cadillac in the world, and then you got into maybe the best Ford in the world. Now I'm not talking about the F40 Ford. I'm talking about a normal Ford that you have with all the options and so on. That Ford is a very good car, but that Cadillac was better. And this is the problem. This is a super premium product, 135 euros. This is middle, top of the shelf type of Irish, 14-year-old, 4 different casks. 42 euros over here in Germany, about $50. This is amazing whiskey, but this is even fantastic, more fantastic than this, and this is our problem. So this is definitely a B+. This is an A, not an A-, this is a B+. There are differences, very notable differences. Very, very nice. A wonderful creamy, a wonderful fruity, a wonderful whiskey. I can get almost the same notes as over here, but yet the age is here better, and also the volume of that fruitiness has been turned up here much, much higher, much better. Now, value for money. This is a B+. This is a B- for value for money. This is actually one of the best Irish whiskies for value for money I can recommend at the moment. Wow. Age statement. Madeira, port, sherry. More than 40%. Unfortunately not 46%. Unfortunately not non-chilled filtered. But yet it still is a very, very, very good product. Now this, exclusive, rare, expensive. This is going to get a C- for value for money, even though it is an A. 135 euros. That's about $155. A C, you can still buy it. Why not? A, why haven't you bought it? B, go buy it. C, you can buy it. D, don't buy it. And F, why was it produced? And so, now, hey, got the deep pockets? Go for it. This stuff is much better. This is in the league, as I said, with the Redbreast 21, with the Bushmills 16, as well as the 21, and so on and so on. This is a super premium product, and it really is a great, great thing. Call it a C if you like, instead of C-. All right, Whiskey Jason here. Whiskey from the viewpoint of American. Love the picture. Boom, boom, boom. Very, very nice stuff. And if you can get your hands on the 14-year-old, I say you're not going to regret it. If you like a good triple distilled Irish fruity whiskey made back in Middleton back then, you're going to have to wait a few more years before the products actually come out, are from the new distillery. They've been producing now for a total of exactly 3 years. I think it was July or August of 2015 they opened up. And so we will be seeing some of their single grain, at least, reaching some of the lower shelf products of Tullamore, and we'll see what happens in the future. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, please subscribe, please tell others about this crazy American over here in Germany tasting rare and exotic whiskeys, things you might never get your hands on. And also, please tell others about this guy who publishes on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. See you soon. Bye-bye.